supporting civil society organizations at the community level, and the SCALE project has actually supported the organization in achieving a lot at that level. I'd like you to share with us some specific examples of how the capacity building component of the SCALE project has transformed the organization, and in doing so, what would you present to us as the highlights? You know, that aspect of the capacity building interventions that really was very transformative for you. Please just pause, this is triple barrel. And while you do that, could you also give us a sense of the benefits you've derived from partnerships with other organizations, and also how you were able to navigate the challenges on all those fronts? I hope it wasn't too loaded.
Oh, well, we can manage that. So thank you, Tija, and then thanks for this event. We are, after all the years of the great work SCALE has done, we are sharing experiences and all of that. But to go into your question for persons to understand exactly what happened in terms of the benefits and the capacity building, the processes and all of that, it's good to state that our organization, which is Lawyers Alert, a human rights organization, what we worked on was on very specific key advocacy asks. One of which is to say we wanted to see how the administration of criminal justice in the States with regard to SGBV, the trial period should be shortened. That is one. And then two, to see how we set up SACs, that is the sexual referral centers in the States. So this basically were the two. And to maximize that, it started from the idea itself. We put together a cluster. And in putting together that cluster, we are very intentional as to what organizations we're doing that will bring about our realization of the key advocacy acts, which is one of the things that SCALE required. So look at your advocacy acts and bring together partners that you think can, so that was a criteria. And so we got together first and foremost NAWOJ, which is a media arm of women organization, Media Women in Nigeria, a national arm of it. We got the NILOC, a Nigerian League of Women Voters, which also had to do with engaging with elected officials at the level that they were also involved in. Of course, we got private sector organizations to also join us. They are Ghani farms, so we brought that private sector slant to the cluster. Of course, legal organizations like Lawyers Alert and our sister organization in Bauchi. So basically, we had all the spaces covered, so to speak, in terms of the advocacy as we were going out there to demand for. So if you talk about the processes, it was imperative and critical that we got the right organization. That was first. After the organizations we have gotten, then we went through the assessments that we've been talking about here. And the assessment was tailored, very, very tailored in terms of the fact that, look, what is it that you need and what is it that you do not have? And so after all of that, the capacity building spoke and mirrored the gaps that we had. And the very interesting thing is the capacity building wasn't just a one-off thing. It went on throughout the life of the cluster. For the 2 years the cluster was there, it was quarterly. And I tell you, that is really, really key and critical. And here's the thing, friends. The big lesson for me is this. It's not what you give organizations in terms of funding. It's how you handhold for a while and often to see that the funding is used in the way it's meant to be by strengthening the organizations along the route. Dr. Tive talked here earlier about capacity, and one thing he said that really resonated with me is that capacity is not an event. It's a process. And so every quarter we came together, sat back, looked in the mirror, the rear view, what are we doing so well, what we're not doing so well, and recalibrated. And as that happened, it was very easy for us to deliver on our advocacy goals. That was really very, very important. And so, as we continued, issues, for example, like funding, issues like lack of technical skills and all of that, we leverage on what each other could bring. So if, for example, we're having problems with the judiciary, the legal sector, lawyers a lot was there, along with IFW, one of our members who is a magistrate, actually. And so you discover that we had big gains like getting the criminal, or the penal code in Bauchi to be amended to accommodate magistrates hearing rape cases. I think you guys should clap for this. That's really very important. It's really, really key when you have a law amended to give courts that hitherto we are just dealing with issues like theft of little things, to say try rape cases, because often they were not doing anything, and that reduced the length of trial of rape cases from 7-10 years to sometimes to what we have now under 2 years in Bauchi.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So, but let me round this up by saying this. Just a moment. One thing that was really critical for us, like I want to say, is the fact that when you get the organizations to come from the locals, then you also enhance ownership of the process of the ask. So at the end of the day, the communities who are the one who were going after, or rather demanding for the object and advocacy acts that we were, made it much easier for us to accomplish this. Thank you, T.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Romy. Please let's put our hands together for that opening. And I'll just come to you next, but hold it while I correct a gaffe. My attention has just been drawn to the fact that someone is omitted from the panel, and that's my bad. We have Professor Andrew Zamani, who I ought to have introduced